Hello everyone. We have a game with the white pieces against Click Barrow, rated 1629. We get to play Bishop's Opening against Click Barrow. We develop two pieces towards the center. You know the drill. He plays c6, which means he cannot play his knight to c6, so we immediately strike in the center since he's not pressuring that square with the knight. He takes our pawn. This allows us to develop a new piece to the center and not worry about it getting hit with the knight. So he goes bishop e7 because he wants the castle as soon as possible. The downside of this is his knight is here and we can potentially kick it. We always consider that. If he jumps to the center, it hangs a pawn. If it jumps anywhere else, he kind of hangs it. It looks really ugly. So let's kick this knight. It looks like so he jumps in the center, but I think this just wins material. What do we want to take with it? We take with the pawn, threatens checkmate, but he just castles. So in light of that, let's take with the bishop, and now he castles. And now we could just develop, right? We're up a pawn. We could just get into an endgame if we wanted, but his king doesn't have his knight's defender. Let's see what we can do there. So let's develop our knight to the center, most logical move. He'll probably attack our queen slash center, but that offers us a trade. He does not do that. He goes to a much weirder, less active square, which does not help him in case we want to checkmate him. Okay, I'm in a castle. Principled, gets my king into safety, and now I'll develop my last minor piece and see what he wants to do. It's unclear what he's going to do. He moves his king, maybe to unpin the f-pawn. Not sure why he wants to move the f-pawn, but this also walks into a different diagonal. I'm not really sure what he's planning. His moves look kind of weird. He does have this weird move on this square, but it doesn't do anything. So where can we bring out our last minor piece? I mean, maybe you can even fianchetto it. Yeah, I mean, you could put it to a normal square, but do I want to? F4 is definitely normal. I could sack a pawn with like b4, get him to take fianchetto, then he takes this. Nah, I don't want that. All right, we'll go here. Look at the center, develop a piece. Rooks are connected. Okay, he goes here anyway, which hits this pawn and our bishop. So the most logical, natural move is to bring it back. And now the knight's in a weird spot. I'm just going to kick it. Okay, he protects it with the pawn, but I'm going to kick it, so that doesn't make any sense. Which pawn do we want to kick it with? This pawn gives us extra access to this diagonal, which I like considering I want to conduct a kingside attack. It also protects the center. Therefore, we're going to go with this move. The one drawback of this pawn is it weakens the d3 square. However, he cannot take advantage of it as I control it. So he moves the knight back, which hits the queen. But now I'm basically going to prepare a battery on the light square, so I don't mind moving my queen. You could move it here, and you could move it here. This feels more correct. And then he should do something like f5. And passant bishop takes. And if I go here in f5, then and maybe I ignore it. Okay, so I'm gonna go here so that f5 doesn't come with tempo. I don't want to, I don't want to en passant and give his bishop and rook open lines. So I'd rather not come with tempo and get the turn back. So now he goes here to try to develop his bishop this way. I get what he's doing, but it seems a little bit slow. After all, I am up a pawn. I'm going to develop my rook to the only semi-open file I have, and it comes with a threat on this pawn if he moves the bishop. So it's preventing him from moving the bishop if he notices. It also develops a new piece for me, increases the power of my position by controlling lots more squares. I mean, they're the same squares, but by doubling, you control them even better. So he plays h6, which prevents some of my ideas, but is also very slow, and weakens the g6 square. So now if he ever plays g6, it's a lot looser. Okay. So we brought this rook in. If you just make like an automatic no-think move, you can bring in the other rook. But if we take a second to think, what's better than automatic development? We didn't want him to play f5 as it stops some of our ideas, right? So I think queen f5 is is an interesting move to like physically block it. The only thing is this diagonal it runs into. But let's say I go here and he plays one of these moves. And I go queen h5. How does he stop? Let's say it's my turn again. I go bishop h6, takes, king over. I mean, that's not even a checkmate. Alright, so let's do some more normal stuff. I do want to sack though. Anyway, this bishop, our whole plan was to go on this diagonal, so let's just do that. We're threatening mate in 1. If he pushes the pawn, like I said, he already pushed one of them, so it's super tender, and he hangs it immediately. Okay, so now we're up 2 pawns. We can trade into an endgame, or we can try to do more. This knight's kind of in the way of our queen. You can do whatever you want, probably. I want to put this here, but then this hangs this. So let's just get our last piece in the game. It protects the pawn, develops a piece. He goes this way, but I mean, I'm just going to move my queen. You could play c4, but that messes up your dark square control, and he can go knight b4, so you don't want that. We just want to move our queen. I mean, we could go here and then force trades. Yeah, let's do that. Let's force some trades. We're up 2 pawns. Our position's beautiful. Look at his rooks and look at ours. Look at his king and look at ours. Look at his center, look at ours. That's all you need to say, right? Look at the pieces, look at the pawns, look at the king. So he initiates trades all on his own, but now if he takes this, that's just checkmate. So I'm not going to bother his plan. I'm going to let him carry it out because it's a terrible plan. And I mean, taking it's good too, but everything's good. Okay, I'll initiate. Never mind. What should I do? I could do so many different moves. I don't know what to do. All right, I'm gonna just waste a turn to see if he wants to take and go h4. This A gives luft to my king. B lets him potentially checkmate in 1. C provides extra support for the square for my pieces, and D threatens also h5, opening the bishop's diagonal again. So now he moves his bishop again. He went here. Now he changes his mind and goes here. I don't know what this guy's doing. In this case, I could move my queen closer to his king. I could also block with the knight, but let's sneak this guy in here for some sneaky mate threats. We can dislodge the queen from here maybe. We can play h5, get in with our light squares. So he's toast. We just have to end it in 2 minutes or less. He moves his knight, maybe trying to create some light square blockades. The downside of this move is, can you guys see? There is a big problem with this move in that it stops the queen's vision of this diagonal, which now allows this queen check. Before he could trade, now he cannot. He moves his king here, which walks into this pin, threatens the bishop, walks into checks, walks into this check. There's a lot of different things going on. If we calculate this check, it's the most forcing because it's a check. There's also this check, which is forcing. If he blocks with the rook, that's checkmate. If he takes the bishop, not my favorite. However, knight check, he has to take the bishop. And then knight check here, at the very least wins the queen, but is definitely checkmate. So let's do the this sequence. He's forced to take the bishop. Now you could win the queen, but is there checkmate? I guess if he goes back, there's no checkmate. I don't feel like calculating. Just give me the queen. I only have 40 seconds. Just resign, please. I don't want to have to think. Okay, now since I have no time, I'm going to auto h5 since it's in a pin. We take with check, so we're not hanging anything. We take with check, so we're not hanging anything. We take with check, so we're not hanging anything. And that's checkmate. Voila. Like magic. As long as I took with check, I knew my queen was not currently hanging, so that's all I was doing. Okay, so we get a bishop's opening. You've seen it 1,000 times. And we immediately just play in the center. If you can play chess in the center, do it. Boom. 3 pieces out. 2 minor, 1 heavy. And a beautiful pawn in the center. He does not have the same. And immediately after this move, I don't like black's position. If I turn on the analysis board, I mean, the evaluation cannot be amazing. And whenever, as a black player, whenever your knight gets hit, if you move it, you basically lose the game. You have to play d5. You see this in a ton of different openings and positions. Otherwise, white just has an overwhelming position. So like here, you really don't want to give up your bishop in most of these lines. So you take this way and you play an open game like this. Boom. So you play a position like this, you long castle, the center's open, your pieces are going to be out, and that's that. And that's if black knows to play d5. If he does anything other than that, his position is just much worse. Why? Because he didn't fight for the center in time. He needs this d5 move right now to fight for the center so he's not worse. But because he didn't do that, right? What did he do? Yeah, he moved his knight here. We just get to take free stuff, and now he never has d5, and he never gets to fight for the center. Already plus 1.5. That's why the center is so important. I have 3 out of 4 pieces in the center. It's only move 8. What the heck? Okay, and turn this off. Development center. 94% accuracy game. 2 inaccuracies. whatever, inaccuracies are fine. So we develop another piece to the center. This was I mean, it's not forced, right? Like, you have other moves. You can kick the knight, let him take. I don't know. You can go bishop here. So my move wasn't forced, but I don't want him to take my bishop for no reason. Doesn't really make sense. And now we get a free move that improves our position, improves our center, and we have this idea. Force move. Development, center, +3 already. We are up 1 pawn, but it's +3. Then he makes, as soon as he does it, it goes to +5.6. And so that should really drill into your brain. You have to be super careful when pushing pawns in front of your king. You may not see how this makes your position twice as bad as it was a second ago. But if you look at the game, you'll understand, because once I go here, you no longer have the possibility of playing g6, which is the move you need to play, right? Like, if I go here, you play g6. Now I can no longer attack you in the light squares. I have to transition to the dark squares. But by playing h6, you're messing up your own g6 defense. So when I go here, you can't do this. I mean, he does do it, but it hangs material. So then it's +6, and maybe you're not familiar with exactly how to break this down, but you don't have to break it down. I mean, you could and you should, because that's what the position kind of asks for right now, but you're also up 2 pawns, so if you traded everything to an endgame, that's completely winning. So you can choose, but don't use it as a cop-out because you don't know how to attack. Like, try to learn. Yeah, so we just bring our last rook in the game. This is a forced move because he was hitting us. And you could just trade, and whatever he takes with, you can put a knight here or a queen here, queen here. You can go for the queen trades up your 2 pawns. He's hanging this thing. His structure's bad. Your pieces are better. You can do what you want. I just go h4 because it actually comes with attacking ideas. It's an idea when you're attacking someone's king to launch the h pawn, even if there's no rook behind it, especially if you're coordinating with a bishop or a queen or something. Again, he's spending time, force move, and now this just came over. So hopefully you learned something, how to attack the king, what type of ideas you're looking for. When you don't know exactly what to do, just bring out all your pieces, make sure they're all developed, then think about it, like I did with my rooks, right? Oh, you don't see an exact attacking continuation, you don't know how to apply more pressure, whatever. Bring your last piece into the game. Oh, what's my least active piece? Let's fix that one. You know, it's pretty simple. Okay. Hopefully you learned something. Submit your game in my Discord. Subscribe. Goodbye.